Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for every UFC event. With your host, DB Scouting MMA, and
the Guru, back again from Chi-Town. We've got UFC 319, Dricus Du Plessis defending his middleweight strap against the undefeated Khamzat Chimaev. Should be an absolute banger of a fight. Truly, I think maybe the best fight the UFC can make right now. And in your co-main event, you have the undefeated Lerone Murphy taking on the newly acquired Aaron Pico. Honestly, fantastic matchup. Can't wait to see how it turns out. But before we can break down this fantastic card, which really could be card of the year, we have a very special guest in the house. Making his debut, the lead betting analyst for fightingstats.com. You may recognize him on Twitter, just absolutely smashing live bets. You may recognize him from his bankroller builder parlays, where he's just making us money for free. You may recognize him from striking parlays. I mean, he's got it all. A man of many talents, Mr. Electrocute Art C in the building. Thank you so much for joining us, my friend. How are you doing?
My pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me. Great to break down fights. Always a fan of breaking down fights, making money, and talking content. Love it. Thank you for having me, guys.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for being on. City Boy, you know what it is. We got the GOAT on. UFC 319. This is going to be an absolute incredible fight card. That's right, Olajuwon. He's representing Toronto in the house. Let's go. Yep, let's go. Best TV all year. Shout out South Park. But what's important, what you guys came here for, we've got UFC 319 Best Bets. We're live every Thursday at 8 o'clock ET. We're never a different day, never a different time. Don't look at any of our older videos. But we've got the best bets, the best guests, always free picks. And you know where to find us every week. We're here to have a good time. We're here to break down these cards nitty gritty. We're going to grandma's house. We're digging into her couch. We're finding the couch cushion bets, the things that we got to find some big prop prices, have some fun. And who better to help us in that regard than the prop master himself, Artsy. So I'm so excited for this card and for our guest this week. So let's get into it. We've got Dricus Du Plessis, still knocks. I don't know where that came from, but I like it. It's plus 210 versus Khamzat Chimaev, the Wolf, minus 258. And it seems like the market thinks that the Wolf is going out hunting this weekend. And with that type of price, with the under 2.5, minus 115, there's a couple things in this fight that got me so interested. Is Khamzat going to come out, get the round one submission like he's done so many times before? Ooh, Guru getting into it. If you got something, get it popping. Yeah, that's right. Let's round it out. We're feeling good, baby. So make sure you guys are having some fun for UFC 319 as well, because, on this card, there's going to be action all throughout in this fight. Oh, man, it's going to be beautiful. Art, he's going to be right back. He'll make it back. But still knocks here, plus 210. Things are super interesting. If he's not getting submitted in the first couple of rounds, I feel like, we could be seeing him having some success coming down the stretch. Let's go. The dream shake. I think Khamzat's going to need to get into the action here. Whoa, John Newquist earning the Dog of the Week. He's sponsoring the Dog of the Week play. John Newquist, again, really appreciate you, man, with these donations. Be like John Newquist. Throw a donation, but if not, at least throw a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So, absolutely great card, great analyst. I really appreciate that so much, John. But, yeah, in this matchup, it's going to be a question of, is it only Khamzat early? Is it only Dricus late? I think the type of grappling that Dricus Du Plessis has and what we've seen even on, the grappling circuits, right? Like some of these stories, he took out a whole team in one night. Yeah, I don't think he's just going to get rear naked choke due to brute force and strength within a couple minutes. This is going to look like a different type of matchup. And I know he's been in some of the worst spots imaginable. It doesn't always look the prettiest for Dricus, but I think having experience in those positions is actually going to give him the chance to survive early against Chimaev. Now, the other wild card, maybe Khamzat is able to carry his cardio better later into this fight. Maybe it's not just round 1, round 2 or bust, but at minus 258, that's kind of how they're pricing it. So Dricus, he's never been finished before. Neither of these guys have ever lost before. I mean, come on. So, or no, I'm sorry. I mean, at least not in the UFC. But, I think in this matchup, it's going to be very hard to get Dricus out of there. And I think he's just going to come on as the fight goes on. And if he has more success than expected in round 1, well, it's only going to snowball from there from a cardio perspective. So I got to lean towards a dog shot here. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. The line keeps getting wider. So why rush? Dricus now at plus 210, and it could get even wider. I mean, huge fan support, huge crowd craziness. But Khamzat, round 1 sub, tell me that's not a prop that has a little bit of sauce to it. So, Guru, what do you think about this fight?
I think that, again, like I said in the intro, I think that this is the best fight the UFC can make right now with all the talent on its roster. I mean, this is an absolute fantastic fight. Been looking to see Khamzat Chimaev in this spot, to see him fully put to the test. Robert, I mean, he just ran through Robert Whittaker, right? I mean, that was just an absolutely incredible performance. And the truth is I really think that he's going to need to replicate that type of performance to even to look at his number. It does at 258. I mean, it's really, you're priced out in my mind. I mean, I line this fight like minus 180, minus 200, maybe more where it opened. I think that was fair, 65, 66% of the time. But the truth is that I don't necessarily see that here. I feel like I did my job. I have a ticket on Khamzat Chimaev to be champ at plus 800. So half unit sprinkle there. But otherwise, how wrong could you look taking a shot on Dricus Du Plessis plus 210 here? I just think that there's so much value. And again, unless he's just made to look like a meme in the first 5 minutes of the fight, you've got the absolute dog of a fighter, and you've got a fantastic price on him. Somebody that's been to these title fights and been in this spot more and more. Chimaev, takes Kamaru Usman off the couch to a majority decision, goes to war with Gilbert Burns, right? I mean, these things are still important to look at. So, I mean, they were going to make him fight Nate Diaz. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I mean, thank goodness that whole card got like scrapped and flipped around. That made no fucking sense at all. So again, I really think that in this spot, you really can't, like, you're not going to look back next week and go, man, Khamzat Chimaev minus 300, right? Like that, there is real value there. I just don't see it that way. So I got to lean with the dog. And I think Dricus Du Plessis, round 3, 4, 5 KO at like plus 1,200 over on FanDuel is something that I might have to take a trip to grandma to talk about. So that's kind of where I lean it. Otherwise, I'm like very happy to just sit back and watch this fight. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So Art, please tell us, are we on the right track here? What do you think about this absolutely incredible main event?
Yeah, so I'm a big stats guy. I'm a big tape guy. I watch a lot of tape, look at the numbers and stuff, and everything and everybody. When you watch DDP's tape, it's absolutely horrible. You can't stand. He's always doing the wrong things. His weight's in the wrong places. He's swinging overhands. Takedowns look sloppy. Takedown defense looks sloppy. Striking overall looks sloppy. But he's just finding ways to win. So I have like an allergy to DDP where I continue to fade him and continue to lose money on him over and over again because he's just pulling wins out of the pocket and just finding making magic, I guess, right? So before, when this fight was announced, I was like, you know what, never again. I'm gonna hold off. I can't really do it this time. But then the more and more I think about it, I have to play it. If this was the one time that DDP loses and I didn't have money fading him, I would be completely upset with myself, sort of thing. So, for me, I go back and I watch some of the tape, and where he's winning, right? And I just think it's some favorable matchup sometimes, and just the way he's pulling it out, right? The last fight against Sean Strickland wasn't really pushing up pace much. He wasn't, on the front foot. He let DDP sort of dictate sort of what he wanted to do. All stand up fight, right? Same thing with Izzy. I think Izzy was winning that fight up until he, sort of got taken down and almost gave him the sub there. Looked like Izzy was pulling away. I think he was up 3-1 on the scorecards there as well. The first time that Strickland fought, I was there live. I thought it was 2-2 going into the fifth. Very close fight. Very, split decision made sense. He pulled it out, but again, just barely, right? The Robert Whittaker one, very impressive. He dropped him with a jab. I don't know really what happened there. Maybe he just had power, but I think Whittaker was coming in, got dropped by that jab there, right? So, and then you have to go back, all the way to Derek Brunson, to the time where he actually fought a real wrestler. And I put that with quotes because Derek Brunson's a wrestler, but with only one round of cardio. And he sort of dominated DDP in that first round. And he took him down, he controlled him. DDP struggled really. And then Derek Brunson, just his cardio fell off a cliff. And then DDP was able to take over. And same thing with the Darren Till one. Darren Till got him down, got on top, looked pretty bad in that one. And then same thing, he pulled it out in the third round, right? So it's just everything that I see on tape is not meshing there, right? And I see what Khamzat Chimaev does on tape. He just absolutely mauls guys. On average, guys are landing like one significant strike against him. Like he doesn't, he exactly what he's gonna do, and he just goes out and does it, right? There's no feeling out process. Right away, he's shooting on your legs. He shoots this blast double where he goes down low, then he moves up, tries to get to the legs. Then he'll try to transition to the back and get you down, right? And then once he's on top, it's like almost impossible to get him off, sort of thing. So I do have to favor Khamzat Chimaev early, right? Like you guys talked about his potential cardio. I think he's going to get DDP down early, and he probably mauls him early. Could look like the Usman fight where it's like a 10-8 and DDP survives. I don't see a case where it's like DDP's grappling is on level with Chimaev and he goes toe to toe, he scrambles and he gets back up, sort of thing. I think it's going to be all Chimaev early, and then it's just really not, everybody talks about it, whether or not his cardio holds up, right? And I did see this thing, this documentary and this thing where his coaches and stuff in camp, they're saying this whole notion that Chimaev's cardio's garbage is sort of a casual take, right? He says that he's going hard for like 8 rounds every day. He has guys coming in. He's fighting with these like he has these big wrestlers in camp, and he's training with them, and he's going there, right? So I just ask you, just assume that Chimaev's cardio is great. Where if I told you he had 5 rounds of cardio, then where do you line this fight, right? I see a lot of people on DDP and just assuming that DDP is going to take over late because what we've seen from Chimaev. I get it. I do have some DDP 3-4-5 KO because the line's just crazy enough, but if Chimaev has cardio, I think he just absolutely mauls him. I think that minus 240 could look like value. I think he could look like minus 500, 600 if he has his way with him. Chimaev round 1 submission, round 2 submission is probably easiest and the way to go. So I have a lot of Chimaev. I have Chimaev submission. I have inside the distance. I think it's going to look pretty easy. I think the level of competition, the level of grappling that we see is going to be, just different levels. And if you like DDP, though, honestly, the best case is just to hold off and live bet it. You'll be able to see Khamzat Chimaev slowing down a little bit, and then you'll be able to get DDP at plus 400, plus 500, plus 600. You don't have to take him now because he's going to lose round 1 at like a 90% clip if he survives, and then you can get on it late there if you see Chimaev slowing down. If not, then just hold off, and you've probably saved some money there.
That makes sense. And honestly, the guru always gets mad at me for thinking about the live betting spot of the week, but I don't think it's actually responsible to play Dricus pre-flop just money line. I like your idea of that 3-4-5 finish. It's a great idea. And then, me and the guru have also talked about if you're on Khamzat, it's got to be round 1, round 2. So, and it's probably by sub. All right, beautiful. Love it. Great breakdowns. Let's get cruising. We've got a co-main event. We've got a miracle matchup. The Miracle, Lerone Murphy, filling in for Movsar Evloev, plus 145. Aaron Pico Grams, minus 175. And I mean, this guy's coming in looking like he's got every bit of those Pico Grams. Now, what I want to do, me and the guru have been thinking a lot about this one this week, but Mr. Electrocute, Art C, what do you think about this co-main event?
Ooh.
All right, starting out hot with this one. All right, so I went back and forth on this. Pre-fight, I was leaning Murphy. After fight, I was leaning Pico, and then I did additional type, and I went back to Murphy. So
Wow.
I think it's going to be close, and it comes down to, a lot of people are going to talk about it, but the level of competition that Aaron Pico has fought, it's just who are these guys, right? And I go back and I look at their record. Almost all of these guys that he's fighting over there are like 500 fighters, right? Like 500% fighters, right? They're not the greatest, they're not the best. I don't think any of them are UFC level. And he's coming over and he's dominating, right? And that's what he's supposed to be doing. And then on the other hand, you have undefeated Lerone Murphy, like he's coming in. He's great everywhere, very well rounded, very technical on the feet, good wrestling, good takedown defense, and good get ups and stuff, right? So I think it's hard to be confident on either side. I see guys loading up on Pico. Let's see guys loading up on Murphy. It's going to be close. So for me, I see it as, the fight starts standing, they're going to be at a distance. Lerone Murphy, this is a bigger cage. It favors Murphy. He has the ability to move around. I don't think he's going to look to grapple at all here. He's going to want to keep the fight standing. I do think he's the better technical striker on the outside, a little bit straighter down the middle sort of thing, right? So Aaron Pico is going to have to find his way on the inside. He does throw some looping shots, but they're not going to be able to close the distance. So he has to first close the distance to land his shot, or he has to close the distance to try to grapple and stuff, right? So Lerone Murphy does a good job of striking while moving backwards. He mixes in the kicks. He switches stances a lot. He can get taken down. So it's a big step up in terms of Lerone Murphy hasn't really fought a wrestler as good as Aaron Pico, and Aaron Pico hasn't fought a striker as good as Lerone Murphy, right? So it's really where does the middle line, how good is each guy, right? So I think in terms of the tape, Lerone Murphy can get taken down. He has been taken down by not as great grapplers, but his get-up game seems pretty good. So I can see a case where Pico's getting these takedowns, but he has to keep the body locked in order to hold Lerone Murphy down. As soon as he breaks that body lock and he tries to throw off some ground and pound or get some damage done, I think Lerone Murphy's going to pop back up and get back up to his feet, and then it's sort of like rinse and repeat for Pico, get him back down, back up, sort of thing. And so from there, it's a balance between how do you score the round where Pico's getting like 2-3 minutes of top control, back up, back down, and then Lerone Murphy might be landing like the better, cleaner shots on the feet. I'm not saying Pico can't strike on the feet. He's a little bit wild on the feet, throws a lot of power, but I do think over 15 minutes, Lerone Murphy's going to land the cleaner shots, better distance shots and stuff. So I see the fight being like a 29-28 fight either way. I'm not really willing to like plant a flag saying it's going to be Lerone Murphy. I can definitely see Lerone Murphy losing a decision. I can definitely see him winning a decision as well. I think it goes to decision up at a pretty high clip. Even if Pico grapples, I don't see him really finishing him on the feet. I don't think he's subbing him. The ground and pound is probably going to be pretty, just because, again, if he goes full ground and pound and trying to damage him, I think Lerone Murphy's going to use that space to get back up. And then on the feet, I think Lerone Murphy's shown that he's pretty durable. He can take a shot. I think he actually has the cleaner shots on the feet. Wouldn't surprise me if Lerone Murphy found the chin. He does throw these like counter elbows as well as you're coming in. And against the shorter Pico guy, I can see that, those landing. I kind of favor Lerone Murphy to find the more of a finish. Again, I think it goes to decision, but I think Murphy has some finishing upside. And you take a look at the guys that Murphy's fighting, right? And there's like some of the most durable guys you can think of. Josh Emmett, one of the hardest hitters in the division, very durable, right? Dan Ige, same thing, very heavy hands, very durable, right? Let's see, Edson Barbosa are also very durable, right? So he's fighting some really durable guys. I know he's going to decision a lot, so I think that he's getting labeled as sort of a point fighter, but he's fighting some heavy duty guys, right? Whereas Pico's fighting nobodies, right? So wouldn't surprise me if Lerone Murphy finds a KO, but I think it goes to decision. I think it's going to be close. Split decision wouldn't surprise me either. I'm not confident on the side. I would lean Murphy just because of the big step up, but I think it goes to decision. Lerone Murphy decision, probably a prediction.
I mean, I think you really nailed that breakdown, Art, because the truth is where the line is at, it has to be dog or pass. Because you're right. Especially for an undefeated fighter, a guy who hasn't lost, I'm certainly not expecting him to lose by finish. So if it's going to the scorecards, guys, these judges are not watching the fight. They're picking their nose. They're scrolling TikTok. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not watching the fight when they hand in their scorecards. So it really could go any which direction. I get a little nervous, kind of like you said, Art, in that Lerone Murphy can be taken down. Getting taken down by the likes of Danny Ige is not something that you really like to see. While I think Lerone might be able to match him in some athleticism, I'm not convinced that he's got the better striking. I think it could, like you said again, Art, it could be very even. And I kind of would imagine that Aaron Pico has the power advantage over Lerone Murphy. So in a fight where you're kind of expecting similar volume, similar game plans, or maybe even a little bit of wrestling from both, it might come down to who can land the harder shot. To your point, Art, maybe Lerone is landing the cleaner shot. So again, I think it's a really, really close fight. And you kind of have to take either a stab on the dog here with all his UFC experience, or you have to pass. But I don't know. I feel like if you're doing Lerone Murphy, you might as well just go Lerone Murphy by decision at plus 250. I think that's a pretty solid line for a guy that, he's winning 90% of his fights by decision. When you look at who he's finished inside the UFC, I mean, he finished quitter Ricardo Ramos, and he finished complete gas bag Makwan Amirkhani. And if you guys remember, that round one was a freaking nightmare for him. Terrible first round versus Amirkhani. And he just goes out, throws a flying knee right at him, and Amirkhani's already exhausted. So
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How many, the guys that Aaron Pico fought, how many of them would Lerone Murphy finish? Those guys, right? Like,
yeah, you make, again, and I think that is what TB has been driving this bus all week, Lerone Murphy, and I've been jumping in front of it every single chance I get, trying to make sure that we do have this right. Because you're right, the level of competition is glaring. It's a glaring difference. And I just can't keep the patchy mixed Mario Bautista fight out of my freaking head. I can't. So it's dog or pass, and I reserve the right to do what I want as I continue to move closer to fight time. But especially me with FOMO, if TB ends up sticking to his guns and on Lerone Murphy, I got to get a piece of that. So Lerone Murphy by decision. I love it. Listen, I felt really good about Andre Fili last week, boys. This week I'm just like, I can't quite freaking get there, man. TB, tell me why I need to grow some balls and get on the dog.
Well, I just think that there's a few things in the stylistics of the matchup, especially in the striking, where I don't trust Pico. I think he's taken advantage of guys that he can just physically overwhelm with his presence, with the threat of the takedown, with his athleticism. I don't think he has anything that Lerone Murphy hasn't already seen before. Josh Emmett, like, that guy is an absolute tank of like a body shape, and yeah, he lands a few takedowns, but just like all these opponents that have taken down Murphy, it hasn't led to a finish. He has very sensible defense. Even all the guys that have hurt Lerone Murphy, like Ige kind of landed a little something. There's been a few other times where it's like a little sketchy here or there. But what I'd also say is that Pico is not the kind of striker, and especially not in combination. He works well to the body. It's usually on single shots. He can throw big power shots. It's usually wild and one punch at a time. He doesn't really string together like a calf kick into, a body shot, into going upstairs with a hook. Like, it's a lot of just one-stop shop type of stuff. And in a large cage with the intercepting elbows, height and reach advantage, UFC experience advantage, sure, we might see Lerone Murphy, getting top time for an extent. I also don't think that Pico's jiu-jitsu is the type of control that we've seen guys like Santos have a little bit of success. Amirkhani, I really think his jiu-jitsu and top time is special. Pico, to be determined. I think he's an elite athlete. I think he's got great initial bursts into his takedowns. He's obviously got power, the way it translates for these wrestle boxers, his hips and the way he throws his power. There's no denying it. It's just, I think Lerone's going to see it coming. The big concern, short notice, didn't really get there until a couple days ago. He's filling in for Mosvar. They're giving Pico some really tough matchups here. There's no way that I can see myself ending up picking Pico on the money line. Maybe he does end up winning this fight. He's got to prove it to me before I would put my money on him in the UFC. For him to have lost all 4 of his fights and every single one be by finish, I know he's telling them to put his shoulder back in the socket. It's not a great sign his shoulder's out of there to begin with. And a lot of these guys, like the picograms, the tendons, the ligaments don't have the ability to keep up with the muscle you're putting on. So you're more susceptible to these type of freak injuries. And also his chin, we've seen it, night a few times in the past. So, of course, I jumped on Murphy plus 130, got reverse CLV'd, cashed out of it. Shout out to Forrest. We appreciate you, Mr. Giraffe Style. What up, Rob Thomas? Guru will be at your concert soon. Can I finish it off?
No, I missed Rob Thomas. He was at PNC this week. I missed him. Very upset. All right. So real question, though. Are we at all concerned with A, short notice opportunity for Lerone Murphy, and B, the fact that he was seen getting on a flight to Chicago, however many hours that is from London? What is that, 10 hours, maybe more? 12? To maybe probably 10. He just got on the flight on Monday or Tuesday. So
I'm scared.
He's got like 4 or 5 days to acclimate to the time shift and all that stuff, when you probably would need at minimum a week, if not closer to 2. And again, the fact that it's short notice, maybe it's not like he had another fight booked, right? So he's just been out since April of this year, with no rumors, with nothing booked, just maybe training and staying ready. So I would love to know some of the behind the scenes inner workings. Who else they maybe would have tried to give Aaron Pico as well, again, other than Movsar Evloev. Yeah. But Aaron Pico training for Movsar Evloev gets a much easier wrestler in this matchup. So
but it's a different style than what he was training for too. So it's a tough one. It's dog or pass for me. You will not see an Aaron Pico money line or prop bet on my ticket
or parlay.
No, it's not going to happen. If you're seeing anything from us, it's going to be on the Murphy side.
Correct.
So we're moving on. We've got Jeff Hands of Steel Neal versus the Nightmare, the bogey ripper himself, Carlos Prates. This is just going to be a crazy matchup. Minus 245 for Prates, plus 200 for Hands of Steel. The over 2.5 at minus 105, the under 2.5 at minus 125. And what I think, nice. He'll be at PNC twice next week, so you'll have a chance to get there, Guru. We're going to see, man. I think it's going to be very dangerous in this matchup, in that Jeff Neal is very willing to go on the front foot. He's willing to throw power and just, take what's coming back to him. He was a little tentative coming off those life-changing medical experiences, but at the same time, we're still seeing him put up these absolutely crazy fights, crazy performances. I mean, Shavkat, it's the absolute last second where he's getting him out of there. And like Ian Gary, someone that is a tough matchup for most people, it's a split decision, and it's the power differential. Prates, though, he's got kicks at all levels. He's got dangerous counters straight down the pipe. He's got power in many different ways. He uses his elbows, uses his knees, and I think the aggression of Neal is going to leave openings for Prates to hit his counters. We're talking a 4-inch height advantage, a 3-inch reach advantage. So ultimately, I got to go with Prates here for the pick. But yeah, the line is a bit scary. I'd lean at the under for this fight. It covers a Neal finish. Prates has been knocked out plenty. And if Prates is getting a win, typically it's by finish. So under 2.5 looks pretty nice. Guru, I'm sorry. The people are asking. We got to let Mr. Electrocute hop on for this part, and then we'll let you close it out. So, Art, what do you think here?
So with Jeff Neal, I like him, and I like his hands, and he's really crisp boxing, really good defensive striking, right? But I think this is a bad stylistic matchup for him, right? So Jeff Neal, he's not much of a kicker, mostly a pocket boxer, right? And he doesn't really have the range he doesn't really step into the punches and cover long distances, right? He wants to sit in the pocket and trade with you. Whereas Prates, look at his chest there. It says Muay Thai. He literally got it tattooed on his chest. He's he has all these Muay Thai fights. He's a big kicker, right? So first off, the biggest thing for me is the distance management, right? So Prates is going to be standing way outside in kicking range. He's going to fire these teeps up the middle, high kicks, low kicks, all those things, right? Whereas Jeff Neal is not much of a kicker, right? So Jeff Neal's going to have to close the distance, get into the pocket, and then try to fire back. That's where Prates really, really shines, is in that, in that close quarters. He has a piston left hand. What's pretty interesting here is that both guys are actually southpaws in this. They both tend to favor. They usually have a lot of experience fighting orthodox. So I think this actually opens up the low kick for Prates, because he usually fights orthodox. The southpaw versus orthodox low kicks aren't really there. It's not as easy against another southpaw. He's just going to blast that outside low kick all day, and if Jeff Neal looks, what does he look like into rounds 2 and 3 on one leg? He already has to close the distance in order to enter into striking range. It's just going to be that much harder on one leg, and if Prates picks him apart with the kicks at range. I like Prates. I think he can land a bigger shot. I think he's pretty durable. I think that Jeff Neal's pretty durable as well. I know you mentioned the under. I kind of lean the over. I'm kind of seeing a Prates by decision. Jeff Neal has never been knocked out in the UFC, so that's one thing to consider there. He's been submitted and stuff, and I think this southpaw versus southpaw matchup is pretty interesting, but I have to favor, the guy that has Muay Thai tattooed on his chest over a pocket boxer that's sort of nearing the end of his career, a little bit slower. I think Prates has all of the upside here. I don't think that Jeff Neal grapples. He really doesn't proactively grapple in a lot of his, his fights. I think he only has like 5 takedowns in his UFC career. It wouldn't surprise me if he, the leg gets chewed up so much that he tries to look for one, but I don't think he's level above Prates on the ground like an Ian Gary is, sort of thing. So even if it does get down, I think Prates gets back up. I don't think either guy submits, so wouldn't surprise me if Prates wins by KO, but my prediction, I think, is going to go to decision.
I'm exactly with you, Mr. Electrocute, Mr. Art. I honestly like an over here as well. I can understand being possibly titillated by an under, but I think that both of these guys, when they're finishing people, they're finishing guys with really, really questionable durability. And both of these guys do not have questionable durability. They're both game, they're both strong, and they both fight deep into fights. I mean, he gets finished by Shavkat with 45 seconds left in round 3, and he's literally has to standing rear naked choke him, big brother, or like to your dog, get that chew toy out of your mouth. Yeah, he really had to ragdoll him to get that. And then you look at Carlos Prates, who we took Ian Gary over, and I mean, the guy is just so talented. He's so relentless. He would not stop getting up. He would not stop striking, punching. I love the way that Art breaks it down. He's exactly right. Jeff Neal, basically just a boxer. It's really all that he's got going for him. For whatever reason, he does not add in the wrestling wrinkle very much at all, which would serve to help him here. He's still waitering tables, which again, good for him. Make your money. He says, it doesn't need the money. It keeps him out of trouble. I just don't really like it. Carlos Prates has no problem getting into trouble, right? So I almost kind of like that a little bit more, because I mean, he's and the gym he's with, right? Fight Nerds, Kyle Bahalio, Gene Silva. He's just with absolute killers right now. So I'm going with Carlos Prates here to get it done. I absolutely agree with Art. I think it's by decision. I went to go find the best line I could. I got an over 2.5 right now at plus 105 over on Bet365. I'm cool with that. I don't need to take another 2.5 minutes. I just want to double up my money real quick. So give me 12 minutes of fight time between two really, really tough UFC fighters.
Damn it. All right, fine. I'll listen. But you bear the responsibility for this. But no, I think you make good points.
Willie Goodman, listen, I don't recognize you, so thank you so much for being here. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. We really, really need that and appreciate that. But Willie, Prates cardio, do you remember the round 5 versus Ian Gary? Ian Gary's crawling for his life. I was begging for my life. Come on, Ian. Come on. I was not happy with how that looked. So honestly, his cardio is pretty... is it fantastic? Is it elite? No, but he did a pretty solid job.
I made 75,000 on that fight. That was an epic fight.
You made what?
Yeah.
You
It
made
was probably
what?
one of those same game parlay vibes.
It was the same game parlay. Yeah, the market gives Prates a lot of credit in terms of like finishing ability and stuff, right? So I played something like a tied takedowns go to decision sort of thing. It was like 80-1 or some ridiculous number like that, right? And yeah, Gary's outside, able to keep the distance, work the takedowns, all that stuff, gets the decision. But yeah, that last sequence in round 5, definitely a butt clencher. If he got finished there, would have been a big difference. But yeah, crazy.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful. Yeah. What Guru said also, if you're not liking and subscribing, come on. It's garbage. All right. So we've got the Killer Gorilla, Jared Cannonier, looking like, shout out Dan Tom. He's looking like Omar this fight week, coming out ragged up.
Omar coming, yo.
He's coming. Plus 164. Keep that in mind as we get towards the last fight of the card. We got a special appearance.
Oh,
Versus Michael Venom Paige, minus 198. This should be an absolute banger of a matchup. Now, Cannonier, the things that make me nervous for him, because typically, like, he's got a ton of power, explosive, calf kicks, ability to get up from bottom position if he's getting taken down. It's just none of those things are really going to help him here. What he really needs to rely on is cage pushing. Like this new wrinkle that he's added to his game against Nasruddin Imavov, against Gregory Rodriguez. Like Cannonier is going to need to get in MVP's business, wrap up like a nice body lock, and just throw him against the cage for at least 8 minutes of this fight. If not, he's going to be the way slower guy. And I think we see a replica of the Israel Adesanya calf kick, move, land, straight punches, stay on the outside. You've got a 4-inch height advantage, just a 1-inch reach advantage, but I think a gigantic speed advantage. And Cannonier, he's probably got the worst chin at this stage. I mean, we've seen him get absolutely obliterated by one. Let's start off. I'm not even going to go where you guys are thinking. Marvin Vettori, round 1. Can I talk to you about that for a second? Because Jared Cannonier is nearly out of there and gets leveled by a straight punch from Marvin Vettori. Then you look at the matchups. It's Gregory Rodriguez.
I mean, that's really all you have to. I mean, that's really all you probably have to say. He has pillow hands. Pillow hands.
That's it.
Pillow hands, Marvin Vettori. That's really all you have to say. Honestly, I don't remember very many people on Jared Cannonier over Gregory Rodriguez, but we were.
Oh, we were.
We were. But let's be honest. If we have to rewatch that fight, if we can see that in our mind's eye, right, guys, he spends rounds 1 and 2 on death's doorstep. I mean, he needed to weather the storm of HoboCop and wait for HoboCop to gas to start pulling away rounds 3 and 4 and ends him early round 4. Round 3 was terrible for HoboCop. So in this fight, he's only got 3 rounds, guys. He can't weather the storm. He doesn't have enough time. And Michael Venom Page's cardio is just fine. So he's slower. He's smaller. And honestly, for once time in a minute here, right? Like, I don't even know that he's the stronger power puncher. So I like Michael Venom Paige here, and I like him to win a decision. Again, both guys we nailed, by the way. I actually should mention that. How many people were on Michael Venom Paige over Shara Bullet? Not so many, but we were. Artsy, of course he was, because of course. How the fuck could he? How did he not have that right? I mean, come on. So probably made it, just a light like 45 grand on that one or something. But yeah, I like Michael Venom Paige. I haven't really looked at the line, but looking at the fact that an under's plus 2.5, I mean the under 2.5 plus 195. I don't know. A Michael Venom Paige by knockout at like plus 400 is definitely something I may go to grandma and ask for. Because again, grandma's couch cushions
for anything. Once again, we got to
clarify.
Right. You said the wrong thing twice now. You
right.
Don't talk to grandma about it. You don't ask her anything. You have to talk to grandma about other stuff to distract her from the fact that you're stealing money from her couch to throw it on these sick, amazing props. And if you win, you're going to put it back in the couch cushions. But, don't tell grandma what you're doing. Tell her about how your week has been, your how things are going at work. Don't tell her that you're stealing money from her couch to place prop bets.
No, she won't like that. She won't like. Yes, but absolutely keep doing it. Plus 105 by Paige by decision, and the best line I've seen on him by KO plus 400. I think that's the plus 400 knockouts with a sprinkle, but I do think more than likely he wins a decision. So, Art, favorite or pass? Where are we here?
Yeah, I'm on the Page side. I gotta agree with you guys, and it's basically anytime you have Michael Page against any striker, I'm on Michael Page. Like he has this style that there's no comparison to it. You can't train in the gym. It's not like, oh, this fight is a mirror match to this fight. Like Michael Page has his own style that if you haven't fought it before, if you don't know how to deal with it, it's a problem, right? And Jared Cannonier has fought strikers that move and fast strikers, right? In Israel Adesanya, in Robert Whitaker, and he lost both of them, right? And I go back and I watch the Robert Whitaker one, and like you just saw, like Whitaker was just darting in and out, not getting touched. Like he's in, he's out, and then Cannonier doesn't have the speed or the distance to really land on him. So what does Cannonier can do? The only thing that he can do is leg kick, because that's the only thing that he can do to really reach him, right? So he goes to these leg kicks. I think like 80% of the strikes landed for Cannonier in those fights were kicks. So there is maybe a path to victory through leg kicks, but Michael Page can switch stances. He doesn't fight from just strictly one stance, and he sees it all the time, right? So I think what he's going to be looking for is when Cannonier does go to throw a leg kick, if it's a naked leg kick, he's going to try to throw a counter down the middle and land. It wouldn't surprise me if he lands a partial knockdown, just landing, getting Cannonier off balance, knocking them down to the ground. And once that happens, it's automatically the round, right? Because you score a knockdown and such, right? So I think it's Michael Page. I think he's just going to be faster, longer. I think he's going to have all the striking volume. Cannonier, his best pass is to cage push, like you talked about, or obviously try to grapple. But Michael Page says that all the time. He turns guys into wrestlers. Guys trying to look for the takedowns. Cannonier's never been really a big takedown guy or proactively grappling and stuff. So I don't see it here. I think that Michael Page can survive any kind of grappling attempts that Cannonier puts on him. And then I think it's just pick him apart at range, stick and move, do your little dances sort of thing. The KO wouldn't surprise me, but I have to lean goes to decision. I think it's Page by decision there. And it's probably a 30-27.
Yeah, he screws around a little too much.
He plays with the food a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I know the likes
you're screwing around too much.
Yeah.
Art, we're always throwing around like the most obscure old South Park references possible.
Okay, all right.
Oh, that was awkward. All right, we're moving on. We've got awkward MMA, Tim Elliott, plus 260 versus the Joker, Kai Asakura, minus 325. This is going to be a super fun matchup, I think, no matter what the outcome is. Elliott is guaranteed madness when it comes to the octagon. And, Guru, you sent me an interesting stat earlier. So why don't you share the stat and let me know what you're thinking about this fight.
Sure. I guess I'll share it in the form of a question, right?
Okay.
It's how many times has Tim Elliott been knocked out in the course of his UFC career?
Got to be at least 18 times, right?
At least 18. Actually, guys, the answer is a whopping bagel.
Wow.
0. Absolutely none. The guy is you can say whatever you want about Tim Elliott, but you can't say that he's not durable as shit. So, why is Kai Asakura by KO like minus money, the worst price imaginable for a guy that's never got a UFC KO against a guy that hasn't been KO'd? I don't really like that at all. So I truly think that Kai Asakura wins a decision. I do feel that Tim Elliott is similar in just to how we broke down the last fight. I just think Tim Elliott, like Jared Cannonier, is going to be outsized and outgunned here. But I don't think that he gets finished per se. So I'm almost kind of looking at like a grandma's couch cushion, parlaying both Kai Asakura and MVP to win by decision. Some sort of bankroll builder parlay, perhaps, something of that nature. Maybe we find a third guy by decision to throw in there as well, if Art likes it too. But I absolutely think that this is a get-right spot for Kai Asakura. I have no idea where Tim Elliott has been the last year and a half. I know he had a knee injury. Guy's long in the tooth. Guy was long in the tooth when he was fighting on The Ultimate Fighter. He was the veteran of that show in that season. So, I love Tim. Tim's awesome. We'll never forget him cashing versus Tajir Lumbekov, but can't do it here. So favorite or pass for me once again. And I like the fight to go the distance. I mean, is the fight going the distance itself plus money? Can I get plus money on that or like pick them? Because guys, they're flyweights. They're pricing it like it's I don't know, like heavyweight. I don't get it. So yeah, I mean, I can get to minus 105 on Fight Goes. That's like you're talking my language, especially when Kai Asakura by decisions like plus 130. Like that's fine. The judges are not watching the fight, boys. I want nothing to do with it. So yeah, Fight Goes the distance at minus 105 is my bet.
Art, what do you got here?
Yeah, sometimes the numbers just drive the bet, right? Like you said, if Kai decision is plus 130 and then Fight Goes is almost a pick 'em, then you pay the extra juice and then just play the Fight Goes. But like I said, I like Kai as well. I think he's faster, stronger. The speed differential is going to be crazy here. Tillman Elliott's going to have to grapple often, I think, and he does grapple quite a bit. He throws in those takedowns. I don't know if he's going to have much success here. Kai did have his UFC debut against Pantoja, and although he did lose and got submitted, I thought he looked pretty good in the scrambles. Reversed a couple of positions, got up and stuff. Seems to be pretty quick. I don't think he's going to really settle here. So I think Tim Elliott's going to have a hard time really holding on to him, doing damage. If he can hold on to him, and then on the feet, I think it's Kai Asakura all day. Like you said, Tim Elliott pretty durable, never been KO'd. So all those sort of point to a decision. I don't disagree with Kai decision. Elliott is getting up there in age. What was he doing for the last year and a half? All that stuff. It wouldn't surprise me if he got finished, but it wouldn't surprise me if he got to decision either. I like Kai on the money line. I think he's better almost everywhere. I think he will dominate this one. So you guys talked about going to decision. I just wanted to point. I did find a bet on Sport Interaction and Bet MGM. It was total number of knockouts on the main card. So there's 5 fights. How many knockouts do you think there would be? I think that this fight goes to decision. I think the Prates one goes to decision. I think the other ones go to decision as well. So I bet the zero. I bet the zero at plus 1,600. Wow. I put a full unit on that because again, I don't think that there's many finishes, and this is one of those fights where it could come a finish on this one. So I've indirectly played some Kai decision or goes to decision by playing that bet.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I really think you guys nailed it. The difference in Asakura's striking compared to some of the guys that Elliott's faced, one, the size, the ability to use knees and elbows is also way more damaging than typical punches with the glove or, even kicks. I feel like you can get caught off guard with a flying knee, an elbow in the clinch a bit more than other strikes. So I wouldn't put it past Asakura to be the first person to knock out Tim Elliott in his career. I mean, look at CLD, crazy spinning elbow into some uppercuts along the cage. And next thing you know, Eric Anders is suffering a knockout loss unexpectedly. Like, it would not surprise me. And Tim Elliott, knee injuries out the ass. He had to pull out of the Tyra fight, last year, hasn't fought in a year and a half. He's had instability with the screws that were put into his knee previously. I can't imagine that him pulling out of the fight, if it was the knee or if it wasn't, it's just not a great sign. And that durability aspect too, I think Asakura probably wins inside the distance. And that submission could be super sneaky. We've seen Tim Elliott gas out. And if he is eating big shots and just doesn't want to be there, like Asakura's got a couple subs on the record. So I wouldn't, put that plus 1,600 as like not possible. Because we have seen Asakura do it before. And when Elliott loses by finish, it's typically sub. So, I think there's some sneaky potential there. But realistically, Asakura is just going to be one of the legs for the Make the Bookies Pay parlay this week. I feel confident including him. Guru, do you?
Make the Bookies Pay parlay. No, I'm
okay.
Over.
Good.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Kai's going to win.
All right. Very nice. So make sure you guys are doing the right thing. Absolutely electric turnout today for Mr. Electrocute. If you guys are here supporting Artsy, if you're here supporting the Chronic Combat Boys, whatever it is, please make sure you're doing the right thing. Throw a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're like our boy, Mr. John Newquist, and you want to get a dog of the day named after you, go ahead, drop a beautiful donation. Make the bookies pay has earned a parlay segment on this show until someone wants to out donate him.
He dropped a massive donation, boys,
Yeah.
and he got a segment of the show named after him for it. It was totally spontaneous. We just had to do it because we do this for free every single week, every Thursday, 8 p.m. And we bring unbelievable guests like Art C. I mean, who does Art jump on with? I mean, it's his birthday week. I harassed this man to come on, and he felt so bad that he really did decide to join us. He's Canadian. He could not say no.
He's a good man. So in awareness of that, let's keep this show rolling.
Wait,
thank you so much, guys.
Before you break this one, before you open this one up, I have to tell you guys, put in your mind's eye, the year is 2022. It is 2 days after Christmas, and you are a Chronic Combat fan, so you watched us interview Mr. Nighttime Eric Nolan, right? I mean, he is a friend of the show. We have been a fan of his for a long time as regional CFFC fans. So, Eric Nolan, good luck this weekend, buddy. Yeah. Please, seriously, you're the man, dude. We love you. Represent New Jersey and the Marines, bud. But now you can kick this one off.
All right. So unfortunately, we were also there in person. Guru for 2 of them. Maybe me. Yeah, I was there for both of them as well. There were a couple not so pretty losses at CFFC. One in Atlantic City, one in Philadelphia. We were there for a couple of them. Not his finished lot. Has he been finished? I don't think so. Yeah, right. So we I don't think we were there for that one, but we were there for the other 2. A couple ugly decision losses, and he eats a lot of damage. And I appreciate Eric Nolan for being a dog. I think he's a guy that there's a reason why he's the one stepping up on short notice to take this matchup. Comes out to the press conference. He calls Khamzat his butt buddy. Like, he came out here to have some fun and take his shot in the UFC. He earned the title in CFFC. So, dude, props to you. And like you've got like Randy in South Park type of big balls hopping in here, ready to take on Susu. Baya Sangur Susurkaev, the hunter. He's hunting those big balls of yours. Hopefully he doesn't kick you in the dick. But yeah, you better look out, man. It's not going to be pretty. I don't think Nolan has the physicality to land it. Like a former light heavyweight didn't have the physicality to land a takedown on Susurkaev. And you could tell he was just kind of like okay to let this guy tire himself out, holding him on the fence, and was like, all right, when are we going to separate? All right, I'll separate now. Like, that's what's going to happen if Nolan tries to take him down. He's got great balance, amazing defense. Like, this is potentially one of those guys that we'll be looking at in another year or two as like a potential, guy that could challenge for the title if everything goes to plan. That's the way that the fact that Dana's got this guy on this card this weekend, promoting him like this, like that's the vision, man. That's what it is. So, yeah, minus 800 might not be wide enough. He's going to be in the make the bookies pay parlay because it just seems right. I know the price is terrible and it's not really going to add much, and the guru might not want to do it, and I'll respect him for that. But should he just be in it or nah?
I can't do it out of respect to my boy, but right. I mean, for him, it would be such a massive victory. I mean, what I saw from Susurkaev, Susurkaev?
We could just say Susu. That's okay.
I'm gonna go with Susu.
Nice.
What I saw from Susu, which is just so impressive, is just how defensively sound he is. That's problematic. Not only is he a sharpshooter of a striker with power, but he's defensively sound. And that's the type of thing that Eric Nolan capitalizes on. He capitalized in the rematch versus Blaine Richards on the exact same thing. What an incredible knockout to get the title. Really, really impressive performance. Deserves to be here. Tough as nails. I just, like you said, TB, he eats too much damage and just by his style takes one to give one. And I don't like that in this matchup. But that's what you do. You bite the bullet and you make it to the UFC. Hopefully he takes some time off after this, recovers, and gets a solid matchup. I really do hope that for him.
Yeah. Art, what are you thinking, man?
I'll be honest, I was busy all week here. This late replacement fight or late ad fight, I didn't really get down to taping this in detail. I did try to fade Susu on Dana White Contender Series because I did see a hole in the grappling, but he looks like he's sort of patched that up here. I'm going to go with the consensus here and go with Susu. It makes sense there. I haven't taped it in depth though, so I'm not really willing to plant a flag or give out advice on something that I have no real research behind.
No, that's fair. And like, listen, this guy literally just fought on Contender Series Tuesday night. You don't have to feel bad at all. So, shout out Susu. This is going to be just absolutely elite vibes from a prospect and how he can skyrocket after this week. Compared to nobody knew who he was. He took the Taha fight on short notice. And now here he is making his UFC debut on 4 days' notice. So absolutely incredible. All right, we're moving on. We've got Gerald, who wants a mustache ride, GM3 Mearshart versus Hussar, Lord Michal Oleksiejczuk, minus 238 for Hussar, plus 195 for Super Troopers himself, Gerald Mearshart. I think, if you want Gerald Mearshart, wait until 3 minutes into the fight if you want to play a money line. And if you want to play a prop, it's Gerald by sub, and it's Gerald by sub probably, I want to say 2-3, but it could very well be 1-2. So it's Gerald by sub, and it's Michal by round 1 knockout. Like, those are the ways that you're allowed to play this fight. It's the only things that make sense, honestly. Otherwise, you're just trying to get too cute. So, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Call me bad names. But, Guru, what do you think?
I think if you're putting Michal Oleksiejczuk in a parlay, that you need to call 1-800-GAMBLER, or you just don't understand how this sport works. I just, like, really, he's so mid. Like, he does not deserve to be this for almost anybody. Guys, I mean, again, okay, fine. Maybe he's getting better because he's decided that he's no longer Polish, but he's Brazilian and he's working with fight nerds. Like, I really do like that for him as opposed to training with his friends in his garage. But again, like, if you're going to give me round 2, round 3, Gerald Mearshart at plus 900, if you don't think I'm going to fucking grandma's couch cushion, you're insane. You have to play it. You just have to play it, because all he has to do is slip on a banana peel, and this could be danger, the danger zone. So Michal Oleksiejczuk, guys, he's been submitted not once, not twice, not 3, 4, 5. He's been submitted 6 times, and he's fighting Gerald Mearshart, right? A guy with 11 UFC submissions of 12 wins, guys. Hello? Like, it is the perfect binary matchup in that regard. So fine, take Michal round 1 knockout, because that is, to me, the only way he makes his money line make any sense. Which, by the way, the round 1 knockout is plus 230. So that's not even that bad. But guys, GM3 just went 3 rounds with Rainier de Ridder, right? Like, he's tough as shit. So, okay, who's he got knocked out by? I know the Ian Heinich one wasn't lovely, but you guys don't remember prime Ian Heinich. That guy, if he could do anything, he could fucking hit. Getting knocked out by Khamzat Chimaev is not a big deal, guys. And Joe Pyfer, be like Joe Pyfer. Hits harder than Francis Ngannou, Joe Pyfer.
Damn it, you beat it. You beat me too.
Exactly. Not bad. Right? And you can't wrestle Joe Pyfer or Khamzat Chimaev, guys. Dog or pass. And you can take a sprinkle on Michal. That's it. Art, do we see in this teed up right here?
I got some Michal round 3 flying armbar. I think he's just going to come out the gate and just do it. Yeah.
Let's go. That's amazing.
No, okay. So, quiz question here for you. Michal Oleksiejczuk has fought 5 guys who have taken him down. How many have won?
Is it 5?
It's 4. Yeah.
Damn, wow.
Who's the one that didn't?
Brundage took him down 3 times, and then he got reversed, and
That
then
was hilarious.
Mikel ground and pounded him to a finish. But yeah, he hasn't fought a ton of grapplers in his UFC career, right? And it's been a long time. The Cal Barral is probably the last time he faced a grappler, and he's not really a grappler either, right? Barral, he got 3 takedowns and choked him out there, right? Cedric Dumas not a grappler, Shara's not a grappler, Holland's not a grappler, Michel Pereira, Chi Njukwani, none of these guys are grapplers, right? So I'm kind of surprised by the line to make Mikel a big favorite, right? And you have to go back and watch all of the times that he was taken down. He's a 0 on the ground in terms of off of his back. Like, I know he went to the Fighting Nerds. I think it was after the I can't remember when, but he he got beat by Barallo. Then I guess got invited to get trained over there. So maybe it's a little bit of an improvement. But GM3 is sort of like on another level on the ground there. So all it takes, like you said, is like some water on the octagon, a banana peel, something to get GM3 on top. And even Mikel doesn't really have a ton of cardio either to put a pace on him for 3 rounds, right? He's usually like round 1 or bust sort of thing. So this is probably a good live bet spot. GM3 could sub him in round 1, but it's probably weather the storm. You could probably get GM3 on a live line pretty big. And then, if it does hit the ground at any point, I think GM3 just cruises on the ground, either racks up control time, but probably finds a finish. Just Mikel's not the best defensively on the ground either. So like you said, I think it's dog or pass here. Just anytime he had to grapple, Mikel just like on tape just doesn't look the part. GM3, that's his bread and butter. He probably tries to stand there. He's probably, he'll probably take a couple of big shots and lose round 1. But again, I think eventually once it hits the ground, I think it's going to be all GM3s here. So like you said, GM3 sub 2-3. Mikel, I don't like the price on KO1. I think I would like it to be a little bit more, but I get that angle. Fight doesn't go is probably pretty safe because of those, right? But I think it's pretty juiced there. But pretty simple. You don't have to spend too much time on it. It's GM3 or bust for me.
It makes a lot of sense. I get it. There's no Mikel in the make the bookies pay parlay. There's nothing. I just think I got to make him my pick. I'll wait to bet Gerald live if I do it. But your submission prop ideas, I do like those. I do like it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I need that.
Be like Forrest Daniels. We got to get this. Run it up. Run up the numbers. Make YouTube scared of how powerful we can be. But no, all right, we're moving on. We've got Bate Estaca, Jessica Andrade, plus 130 versus Lupita Godinez, minus 155.
This fight's giving me agita all fucking week, boys.
Yeah.
All week.
Yeah, this is a tough one because there's a lot of outside the octagon type of things where Jessica Andrade, you don't know how she's going to show up any given week. And here she is changing weight classes again, going back down to 115. And then Lupi, God forbid you know what she's going to do when she enters the octagon. Just can't fight to a consistent game plan. And when it comes to higher level competition, like I know in the last fight she said that she needed to shit her pants in the octagon. Like it looks mentally, that's what she does when she faces anyone with like high level talent. She mentally shits herself. So
honestly, TB, I didn't necessarily. I mean, like the fact that it's at 115. I actually like that for her. Like, I think that's
for Lupi,
Andrade, right?
No, for Andrade.
Yeah.
For Andrade, I really do like that for her because if at 125 and I think she's fought at 135, right? It's just like you're just not cutting enough weight. Like, I think that it actually shows good on her that she's going to cut this weight because the truth is that even though she's old in fight miles, she's only 33.
Yep. And so this is some tasteful thickness right here. Kamehameha. I like that. He's going to smack him. You got some good posts out here, guys. I appreciate what we're seeing here. Now, the pile driver, that's what Bate Estaca is. She's got a wrestling background herself. Now, the issue is when she's gone up to 125, 135, like she's clearly not physically stronger than these other fighters. And against in the matchup where she's getting submitted at 115, I know there's the Erin Blanchfield experience, and then also Tatiana Suarez.
Short notice, she looked terrible.
Now, and can I give my girl some credit? So Jessica Andrade, she was going through a divorce, and also like her old coach at her old gym.
Stealing from her.
Yeah, both like two terrible financial situations. So she's just taking fights as fast as possible, trying to make money. Like in a horrible mental place, she opens an OnlyFans. Like, God forbid you had to see the images with your own eyes. But I think that the moral of the story is like Andrade, she now built a new fight team with Carol Hosa. It's closer to her hometown. And it's also built around empowering the women in the camp, allowing them to bring in, training partners that they see fit for their styles, for the matchups they have coming up. It's a healthy training room experience. It's not, I'm going to sue my coach for fucking me over multiple times and stealing my money. Like, it seems like Jessica's in a healthy place. And Carol Hosa, for all of her ups and downs, I think we saw her come out with a pretty dedicated game plan and put on an experienced performance last time against Cornole. Why couldn't we see Andrade do the same thing? Godinez has been out-grappled by the likes of Jessica. I'm going to retire Penne. She's been out-grappled by Vina Jandiroba, and none of these people have what Jessica Andrade has physically. And the striking on the feet, mind you, Lupi Godinez got knocked down by Tabitha Ricci in a fight that played out from distance. This wasn't a clinch elbow to the eye. This was a punch that landed on her face and knocked her down. If you watch the Yan Xiaonan fight, that's a better indicator of what it looks like when a real striker faces Tabitha Ricci. Godinez is not going to like the power from Andrade, and I don't think she's going to be able to wrestle her easily. We got in at plus 150 earlier in the week. It's not a huge play, but it's definitely a dog shot that I got to have.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at her...
Guru.
Yeah, oh my God, please, Forrest, don't do that. I don't want any roast beef. No, thank you. When you look at her losses, I mean, you could literally look at 6 losses. Guys, which one of them isn't excusable? Jasmine Jasdavicius, top 5. Natalia Silva, top 3. Tatiana Suarez, top 3. Yan Xiaonan, top 5. Erin Blanchfield. She's fighting the Valentina Shevchenko. Guys, those are her losses. I mean, Lupi is not that caliber. And again, TB, I think I'm feeling a little bit better about it. At flyweight here. I'm not sure that I necessarily.
You mean at strawweight?
Yeah. Why did I say flyweight?
I don't know. You're doing your best.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. I'm totally cooked from work today, boys. But yeah, I really do like that. And at plus 150, I'm pretty happy about that. But I honestly think plus money on Jessica Andrade should be solid because, again, I'll say it for the 3rd time tonight. This, Lupi doesn't finish anybody. Fights going the distance, right? So these judges are not watching. So anybody could win. Art.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with mostly a couple of things. One, on the feet, Andrade is gonna have leg kicks for days. She likes to go to leg kicks. Lupi doesn't really kick too much, so it's gonna really hinder the striking from Lupi. And like you said, 115 favors Andrade. The bigger cage favors Andrade. So Andrade's gonna have leg kicks. She's gonna have all the power on the feet. Lupi's gonna have to close that distance. I think she's gonna have to grapple here and get Andrade down to the ground and really control her on the ground there. But that's a tall order, right? Because a lot of people have tried to fight Andrade and do the same thing. Did you know that Andrade really hasn't given up much control time? The fights with the most control time were like Valentina Shevchenko, which was she's champion, 5 minutes of control. Then the next highest was like Tatiana Suarez, but then even Tatiana Suarez struggled a little bit in round 1 to secure that takedown, get her down and control her, right? Andrade can get taken down, but she seems to have good hips, get ups, things like that. So I don't see Lupi just laying on her for 15 minutes, cruising to a decision there. I think that Andrade is going to make her work, and when it's on the feet, it's all Andrade in terms of leg kicks, power, things like that. And Lupi's not going to do a ton of damage. I don't think she's going to submit Andrade on the ground. So it's Lupi by top time and lots of control, which is going to be very hard, or it's Andrade by damage, by more optics in terms of front foot damage from the kicks, things like that. There's nothing to write home about or nothing to really fear with a Lupi striking. So I think that Andrade can walk through those things, but I think she just wants to stay on the outside, pepper the legs. We saw it in the Mackenzie Dern fight. Mackenzie Dern obviously doesn't have the wrestling, But we saw the game plan there, just stick and move, leg kick, stick and move, and then eventually finishing her there, right? So same thing with Blanchfield. I thought Blanchfield struggled a little bit in round one to really control her, and then she just had an opportunistic rear naked choke where she got onto the back there. So I like the dog shot on Andrade. I do think that the fight goes to decision quite a bit. I think if any finishes come, it's probably from the Andrade side. So you could look for like an Andrade finish only, but I'm probably going to be Andrade and Andrade's decision for me.
Yeah, I feel a lot better about it now, and it's kind of like a crystallizing moment. And I think I really just need to pay attention more to weight classes. Like something like just like really making note of it, because last week, all week, I'm like, Ursig, I don't know what's gonna happen. He could win it either way, blah blah blah. And then I realized I'm like, wait a minute, it's at 135. He's gonna win a decision. So yeah, just kind of need to pay. I need to personally pay a little bit more attention to that.
Well done. It's time to chase the dream. We've got Chase Hooper minus 325 versus Alexander the Great Ape Hernandez plus 260. That's not a TB nickname. He decided to change it from Alexander the Great to the Great Ape. And that type of IQ is also playing out in the octagon over and over again.
See, I like Chase Hooper's IQ there, right? Going from the teenage dream to the dream. Like,
yes.
You don't want to be Pedro Munoz at 46 years old calling yourself the young Punisher. Like, you look stupid.
You know, these are things that we can respect. And I think Chase Hooper, he's going to go for takedowns, believe it or not. I think Hernandez is going to maybe have some early success on the feet, maybe, but maybe not. And, you know, Hooper, he's going to get after it, whether it's a knockout on the ground, whether it's a submission. I think it's round 2, round 3. And I think I got to have some of it. Also, add Chase Hooper to the make the bookies pay parlay. I think him, Kai Asakura.
No. I don't know. No, I can't do it. No.
You're not doing it? Come on.
No.
Why not?
Chase, because like Chase Hooper, I will never get out of my head watching him get unable to stop a left hand versus Steve Peterson and it was really the Steve Garcia fight.
No, okay. So can we also but can we give him a pass for Steve Garcia?
No.
Also, Steve Garcia is way bigger than Alexander Hernandez.
I agree. It's how it happened, dude.
Yeah, but a 2-inch reach advantage, 4-inch height advantage for Chase Hooper here. It's not the same as that fight.
Brother, what real striker has he fought since then? And I guess you can say Slava, but bro, he can't stop a takedown. He hasn't fought anybody. He's beaten up the nursing home. And now he beat up, Jordan Leavitt, who's can't strike. Nick Fiore is a BJJ guy. It's a problem. The line is too wide.
Steve Garcia had a 1-inch reach advantage, whereas Chase Hooper has a 2-inch reach advantage.
My man, are you listening to what I'm saying?
And also, we've seen a growth in Chase Hooper's striking game. His defense
versus Jim Miller and Clay Guida. What, dude? Come on! I can't do it. No. And if anything, what we've seen from Alexander Hernandez is he doesn't go for broke anymore. We picked Kurt Hollabaugh for a reason. He did not gas.
He laid and prayed because Hollabaugh doesn't get up. If you take down Chase Hooper, you're submitted.
Okay, well, so again, but now you don't even have to exert that energy to do. I don't know.
He's not a volume.
What's Chase Hooper by sub? I don't want his money line. What's Chase Hooper by sub?
Chase Hooper inside the distance. He can ground and pound as well.
Yeah. Yes, I know. You're right. Of course I know because I took fucking 14-1 on Chase Hooper round 2 knockout and fucking Keith Peterson robbed me and made him choke him out. No, I'm still pissed about that. I will never not be pissed about that.
But what I'll tell you
Art
is
understands.
You also need to understand that Hernandez is not putting together 2 winning rounds against Hooper that's going to try to take him down. Hernandez needs a wild finish, and he needs it fast. He has no cardio, not against pace and pressure, and if Hooper makes him scramble, he's going to gas out. Hooper, he's in my make the bookies pay parlay. Hopefully I can get Guru to agree with me, but if not, we'll find some other legs.
I mean, is there a better price to Chase Hooper inside the distance than plus 100? Is there something better than that?
I didn't look into that prop specifically yet. So
fair enough.
I'm so sorry. Normally Sometimes I'll put our guests in between us because we need a mediator at times. This is what happens. You know, we it's all out of love. But
this is the conversation aspect of our podcast where it's not
good.
just all dialed up, buttoned up. Hey, this is how I feel about the fight. We move right along. We love to debate. So please, Art, settle this for us.
I like Chase Hooper. I think he's different career paths, right? Like I think he's getting better every time he comes out. You make a good point in time in that the guys that he's fighting, there are good stylistic matchups for him, and I don't disagree with that. He's better than these guys, but you would have to agree that he's probably better than Hernandez in this fight as well, right? And it's a good stylistic matchup for him in this fight as well, right? So Hernandez doesn't have that one punch KO power that he's going to really put out Hooper on the feet. His wrestling's decent, but on the ground it's going to be all Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper is going to get that takedown, right? And I look at, this is sort of like the same thing with the Mikhail Jacek fight, whereas, every time that Alexander Hernandez gets taken down, got taken down by Damon Jackson, gave up, 6 minutes control time, ended up losing that fight. Bill Algeo took him down, ended up losing that fight. Billy Q took him down, lost that fight. Renato Moicano took him down, lost by submission in that fight, right? So there's a pattern there where he really can't compete there on the ground. I think Chase Hooper's striking is improving when he's on the feet. He's sort of growing up into the frame sort of thing, and like on the ground he's just nonstop with these submissions and stuff. So the submission one is easy, right? Chase Hooper submission. It would not really surprise me if it went to decision. It's just it would be a lot of top time, a lot of control, a lot of submission attempts and stuff. But like you said, Alex has to get him out of there early. Late, he could start to fade, especially with all this grappling. I like Chase Hooper.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I get spooked sometimes, and I have to really hold up. I do think if you like Alexander Hernandez, I think you take just simply the round one knockout at plus 1400. I mean, he's got 3 UFC knockouts. They're all in round one. And
against
again,
who?
He's got a round one. Yeah, right. It's Chris Grutzmacher, Mike Breeden, and
Beneil Dariush.
And Beneil Dariush.
That was funny.
And Beneil Dariush was hilarious. So you're of course you're right, but yeah, I don't know.
Right,
I can't get it out of my head.
Before we move on, the Guru, I looked around. There's a lot of plus 100 Chase Hooper by finish, but what if I told you Hard Rock? Plus 115.
Yeah, then I would say we're getting down for a unit.
All right, I'm already in.
Because I lost 6 units on Bobby fucking Green. That was the worst.
Yeah. So, Chase Hooper, he's part of the Make the Bookies Pay parlay. We've got Kai Asakura and Chase Hooper so far.
Art, who did you like maybe very quickly on that fight, Bobby Green and CDF?
I had goes to decision in that fight.
Fair enough. I think
smart, man.
Which is tied to Bobby Green sort of thing, right? Like that's betting on Bobby Green is just not getting flatlined. So I thought Green was live in that. I took goes to decision.
Love it.
Very smart.
Appreciate you for that too, for even raising the curtain, letting us know.
Yeah.
All right. So in this matchup, we've got Edson Jr. Barbosa minus 142 versus Cast Iron Drakkar Klose plus 120.
That's not the worst nickname you've ever given.
But do you know why I gave it to him?
Of course I do. I'm curious to know if Art knows why you gave him that nickname.
I do not know. No.
So his wife was
Cast Iron Courtney Casey.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He had no nickname, so he gets her nickname. I think it works out. It transfers through marriage. So plus 120 on Drakkar Klose, minus 142 on Edson Barbosa. Yeah, this is a super interesting matchup. We've got Barbosa. Guru, pay attention. He's moving up back again to 155. Weight class alert.
Why? Yeah, like why though? Like at this stage in his career, I mean, just because he doesn't want to make that cut anymore. Like weird to go up and down and up and down.
Yeah, I think he's kind of gotten past the whole. I'm gonna make a run at 145, and I'm not sure what's happening at this point. To be honest, I'm curious to see with our guy like. Is this the end of the run? Is he going out in front of a big crowd and going to hang up his gloves if he loses this one? Like, is Barbosa getting to that point?
I want Drakkar Klose here. Again, like the Bryce Mitchell fight, just the way that he just can't stop, like get up or stop that stuff. I mean, Drakkar Klose has no problem grinding you out against the cage. He will absolutely mix it up. So The line is like plus 115, I believe, over on Bet Online. So there was plus 130 earlier in the week. I kind of wish I had touched it. Plus 120 is quickly evaporating because again on DraftKings, which is where you get these lines, TB, it's currently plus 114. So I do like Drakkar close here, and what again I expect to be a fairly close fight that goes to the decision. So I would want the dog here, and what could be a coin flip where I feel like I have a guy that has the grappling advantage who's not afraid to be on the feet. You get knocked out by Joel Alvarez, that happens. But that's because they gave you Joe Selecki and Joaquim Silva before that. They gave you a chance to win something. They gave you Brandon Jenkins, right? Drakkar Klose is the guy, right, that came out like publicly and he's like, "Yo, I don't want to fight for the title. Just give me whoever." Right? Didn't that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's like, "I don't care about that. I just want to fight and win and beat up the worst guys I can." So they gave him a fair amount of that. Then they gave him Joel Alvarez because they're like, "You can't always get what you want." And now you get a name on a great card. I think he can win this fight.
Art?
Yeah. Overall, I think I'm going to pass on this one. I do think there's a difference in strength of schedule with Barbosa fighting the bigger guys, the bigger name guys, right? Losing a decision to Lerone Murphy's okay, but it does look like Barbosa is probably like slowing down a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me if this is his last fight. I think Drakkar Klose actually talked about it in an interview saying that this could be his last fight, or he thinks it might be Barbosa's last fight, things like that. So. I give the hardware edge to Barbosa. Like he's gonna have the better striking, durability. Drakkar Klose does have some grappling upside there. I just don't want to stand in front of it. I might try to live bet it, see what they look like after a couple of minutes, and then get in. My gut reaction is Barbosa by decision, but I'm not confident enough to sort of put money on it yet. I want to see where the line goes a little bit. I think Barbosa has all the kicking upside as well, right? So I could see it going both ways. Again, the small lean on Barbosa, but I'm not confident. I want to see it live before I commit to anything here.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And I think the Guru's got a good point. Close. He's gonna make it close, man. I think he's not gonna want to play at distance. It would be a very silly game plan. He typically does the right thing. We've seen him get out grappled, like the Dariush fight and all that. And yeah, he hurt Dariush, and then he storms back, gets him. Barbosa, I don't know. I don't envision the same type of performance. But I mean, this guy surprised us before. Every time it looks like he's out, he just finds his way back. Is Zombie Barbosa, or is he fully cooked? I'm gonna lean towards the dog shot here. I think we'll have a little bit. All right, we're moving on. We've got Brian the Butcher battle -170. Don't call him Pooh Bear versus Nursultan Ruziboyev. And instead of his chosen nickname of Black, we have bestowed Lil Ruzivert, Nursultan Ruziboyev. -170 for Brian battle, +142 for Lil Ruzivert. In this matchup, the things that stand out, both guys have dabbled down at the 170 weight class. Well, guess what, Guru? This fight's at 185 for both of them.
Ooh, that's interesting.
All right. So I'm glad that this has been brought to your attention.
So it's at middleweight for Brian battle.
Yes.
For this fight.
He missed weight by 5 pounds last time.
Oh, shit, he did.
Against Randy Brown. Now, what I will say...
And then pushed him against the fence.
Yeah, exactly. That was awesome. I don't like this at 185 for Brian battle. I think that's...
I'm not worried about it at all.
Really?
Really? Yes, because he's done this before. I think he's so how old are we? We're at 30 now. I think there was a period of time, late 20s, where he could absolutely kill himself to get down to 170. That's a lot of weight to cut. And he was a big guy. He got into phenomenal shape, but I think adding on the muscle actually helps him out a bit. I think filling out at 185, he's the type of guy that builds. He has pace. He has cardio. He has a great chin. He gets in the clinch and he'll make it fucking dirty.
I just need him to that's all. I just want him to wrestle. If you're telling me he spends 27% of his fights in control position, then that's what I want. I want him to wrestle. If you're telling me you're going to go for that many takedowns, TB, can we actually go back to the other screens. It's kind of blocking the grappling. Yeah, thank you. I mean, if you're telling me you're going to go for 3 takedowns attempted at 5 minutes at distance against Little Ruzy Vert, that's what I want you to do. I want you shooting 9 takedowns in this matchup. That you have to do that.
He's a smart guy. Typically, he takes advantage of his opponent's weaknesses, and like looking at just like his volume as well, he lands such a high differential from distance. I know he eats a few more strikes as well, but that's to impose his will. Like he's landing over 8 strikes a minute at distance, whereas Ruziboyev is not even eclipsing 3 strikes. Ruziboyev needs a finish. So 1, he's not going to out volume battle, and 2, he's not going to out wrestle battle. Like we've seen Ruziboyev taken down by way smaller guys. He just accepts bottom position, and I'm going to go for a Kimura to try to get a reversal or a submission. And that's what he relies on. So Brian's not going to death gas. And also Ruziboyev is very accepting of bottom position. So I don't think there's going to be a gas tank issue. He shot at more than 1 takedown every single fight. Yeah, except for not. But that was a tough fight. That's, that there's a lot of shit happening in that one. First one going down, facing a real wrestler. Like Ruziboyev, despite the name, that's not what he does. He wants to strike. He wants to be a sniper. Look at the Stoltzfus fight. How do you take Dustin Stoltzfus to a decision? What is happening here, Nurselton? You don't really have any power threat at the UFC level. I'm sorry. Okay, Brian Battle minus 170. This is like the Yasmin Lucindo type of price. I'm all over it. Give it to me. Something tells me not to max it out, but I need to taste it. I need a little bit.
You want to max out what did you want to max out?
Minus 170.
Wow.
Battle money line.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, I don't necessarily want to pick which way he does it, to your point. And he's probably decently safe other than some sort of meme Kimura or getting bonked. So yeah. I remember maxing out the Joaquin Buckley line versus Nursultan at Pick'em, and that was just like one of my favorite bets ever in like the history of doing this shit. Knocking out our boy, the Professor McGonagall, Eric McConico, is like on short notice. Like that doesn't really mean anything. Dustin Stoltzfus, like you said, decision. And Dricus Dumas fight, which we watched live. I mean, say what you want. I mean, that guy poked him in the eye like 17 fucking times. That really should not have been. It might have just been coming anyway, but I don't think it should have been a knockout when it was. So you're right, TB. I mean, I can't just continue to hold on to the Bruno Ferreira knockout as like this guy is like some sort of meme lord puncher. Like maybe he's just not.
And it wasn't even a real knockdown. Like, quite frankly, it was like a weird, like, Ferreira goes
caught his kick. He caught his kick, kind of punched him at the same time, and he just ground and pounded him because his arms were so long.
So the ground and pound was a real knockout, but the knockdown itself to get to that position was a very fluky experience.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
All right, well, what do you think, Art?
Brian Battle's one of those guys for me that I can't. Well, I always try to fade him. Just on paper, just nothing really impresses me too much about him. He doesn't really do anything overly great. He's not a specialist anywhere. Sort of like more of a weight bully than anything, squeaking out wins sort of thing. So I said to myself, just like the DDP one, try not to like bet against this guy anymore. And
he's an overperformer. He's an overperformer, Art. When the lights are on, he turns it on.
Maybe that's what it is, right? He's finding ways. So I tried to fade him with Randy Brown. I tried to fade him with Kevin Jousset, even Angelusa, right? Going back to like the Ultimate Fighter days, like even those ones, he got lucky because both of those guys ended up gassing. He's just opportunistic where he's just like getting it. He's durable enough to survive, and then he survives and then picks up the pieces. He's sort of like Homer Simpson's to the point where like he's winning these fights. But here you guys talked about it's the takedown defense for Nursultan that's really concerned, right? And Brian Battle does clinch, he does push. I don't think his takedowns are that great, but I don't think you need great takedowns to take Ruziboyev down and to lay on him. So I get the play on Battle. I don't have anything on this fight yet. If anything, I'd probably lean an over, just because I don't think that Brian Battle really finishes. him much on the ground. He's not a big, submission guy either. Ruzaboyev, I do think that has to land that straight left down the middle. And Battle, his defensive, striking is not the greatest. He can be hit, so wouldn't surprise me. But like you said, Brian Battle's a volume guy. He'll be on the front foot. The optics of it are probably in the Battle's favor. I could see Battle pulling this out here. So I don't have anything. I don't fault you for taking Battle. You guys make some good points there. He has all the grappling upside, striking upside, volume upside, cardio, things like that. I don't think he's that great, so I'm going to pass on it. Maybe we'll see if I can get in live. Maybe I'll change my mind, in the next couple of days. But that's what I'm hanging on to. Maybe I'll play the over now that I'm talking about it, though.
No, that's respectable.
100%, and I'm surprised that it's lined where it's at. I do like that over as well.
Yeah, I don't think Battle finds the finish. I just think he's going to be relentless. But yeah, and that's kind of the thing is I don't project Battle to be a real top 10 guy. I think he can maybe scratch the top 15 with the right matchups, but I don't expect him to be a title contender. I don't rate his talent, elite, but I think he has enough tools and he's just got that it factor of like, he's going to fight for the money,
Yes.
So I trust him to at least fight for it. All right, beautiful. We're moving on. We've got the killer, Karine Silva versus the witch, Dione Barbosa. Rematch alert.
The rematch that everybody's been asking for.
And the original fight that, God help us. Can anyone find it for us? I did a little searching. I couldn't quite come across it. But at the same time, this is 6-7 years later. I think Karine Silva is a totally different fighter from when they first matched up. And it would be kind of a detriment to take too much away from it. Silva is now 32. At that time, she was a pretty young fighter. And Barbosa, she's kind of exiting her prime almost, whereas she had a bit more of experience when they first matched up. In this matchup, though, I really don't want to take Karine Silva at this price, but I'm not going to take the dog just because she won the first matchup. I think you kind of have to throw that out the window in some regards, and that might even motivate Silva a bit more to get like the comeback in this spot. Short notice replacement. This was supposed to be JJ Aldridge, and in steps the witch, and she's had cardio issues in her own right. So while Silva has slowed down before, I think she's going to find a way to do enough in the striking. I don't think she's the cleaner striker, but I think she is going to be the stronger fighter at this point. Barbosa, I don't think she's as good at takedown defense as Araujo, and I don't think she's as good of a striker, but she's still tough enough where I don't need to take minus 218 on Silva. I don't need to parlay her. I probably don't even need to take a prop on this fight. I think I'm okay on this one.
You really just hit the nail on the head for me. I want absolutely nothing to do with this fight. Although Forrest Daniels, maybe it's the Karine Silva by decision in that decision parlay that I had cooked up with Kai Asakura and MVP. So now all of a sudden I'm thinking differently, but I shouldn't be. No, I don't really want anything to do with this fight. After she shit the bed versus Vivian Araujo, it's just not a great look. Vivi was really at the end of her rope, and she still showed that she had something left in the tank for somebody like Karine. And then when you look at who she's beaten, it's still we need to see her dominantly win this fight for me to be able to be willing to pay this price on her, if that actually makes sense. Because beating the OnlyFans queen Marina Moroz, beating Lipski da Silva, who's a shell of herself, that when you go from the queen of violence to just the queen, that says everything we need to know about you. And Ketlin Souza and Poliano Botello are just awful. So, I don't want anything to do with this fight. Yeah, I don't know, Dixon. The problem with the split decision stuff is just like, again, you have no idea what the judges are thinking or watching. And then it's also just like the bookies, when it's actually a fight that makes sense, they know it too. And then they crush it. So, Art, what do you think in this fight that I really don't feel like I have the best read on?
Yeah, I think this could be close, and I think Dixon might be onto something with a split decision here. They're both BJJ black belts. Barbosa's an Olympian judoka, and I think that the run that Karine Silva's been on has been a little bit, handed to her. Like the last fight against Vivi was a bad look, right? And overall, she couldn't close the distance. She couldn't get in there. She couldn't get a hold of her. She couldn't strike. She couldn't really do anything. And then before that, Lipsky, Moroz, Souza, and Botelli, none of those girls are actually grapplers, and they're sort of fish on the ground. So Karini Silva has that advantage where she can take you down and just submit you on the ground, right? And I think the perception of Silva's BJJ game is uh, looks a lot better than it is because she's finishing these type of girls on the ground there, right? And then so I go back to like the Contender Series fight against Yin Yang or whatever it is, right? That was she's a little stocky like door there, just want to grapple you, but she did get her down to the ground. And once Silva was off of her back, she never really got up, right? And so it's concerning to me. She actually on paper has 0% takedown defense, and to say Barbosa doesn't have the best takedowns, she doesn't have the best wrestling, but she is an Olympic judoka, right? So she does, if you get in close to the head and arms, there's the same thing with like Amanda Ribas. She goes to that head and arm throw, she'll put you down to the bottom. If she gets on top there, I could see Barbosa winning a round or two because of top time and because of the grappling. I'm not willing to sit here and say Karini Silva is just going to be levels above Barbosa on the ground. Karini Silva actually almost got armbarred by Viviane Rougeau, and that's almost, Barbosa's specialty is that armbar, right? So it wouldn't surprise me if Barbosa found that armbar if it hit the ground. On the feet, Karini Silva doesn't strike me as the best technical striker. Barbosa actually looked improved in terms of her striking coming out that last fight as well. So I think it's pretty close. I think it's going to be dog or pass for me. I was leaning towards the over probably all week, but short notice. I think both girls can get into a situation where they're slowing down a little bit. The submission presents itself there, right? So I didn't want to lace too much juice there. But I think Barbosa's live. I think Barbosa by split, is there as well. And I don't really see a where Karini Silva looks minus 250 clear cut, right? Like I think it's close on the feet. I think it's close on the ground. Even if Karini Silva does get on top and get some top time, she's going to be fighting off the armbar and the sweeps and the reversals from Barbosa on bottom. And then if Barbosa does sweep, then it could be a 50-50 round where Silva started the round on top and ended the round on bottom, sort of thing. So I can't leave the juice. I like Barbosa sort of as a live dog. I'll get to the window eventually, find something to play here, but it's not going to be Silva for me. It's going to be some sort of combination of the two there.
Nice. No, that's smart. I just can't really get behind any type of Silva play. So, all right, we made it. It's Stringer Bell time. Is it Alibi Idris or is it really Idris Elba that's showing up for this fight? I think we're getting some Stringer Bell action. We saw Omar earlier on the card with Jared Cannonier. I don't see why this couldn't be Stringer Bell. So now we've got him versus Boppo. Joseph Morales coming back from his pretty disappointing 1-2 UFC stint previously, getting back into the tough house, winning what was arguably a robbery of a decision in his semifinal fight to get here. I mean, he won round 1. Round 3 was clearly to his opponent. And round 2, I don't know. I don't know if Morales really won that one. And Alibi, this guy is just relentless. He's got pressure. He's got power. He's got switch stance. He's got a little bit of everything. What I don't love, he could be a little bit reckless when it gets to like defensively in the pocket when he's mid-combination. But when he's from distance and he's trying to mind his range, he has good head movement. He's got good reactions. It's just, I think Boppo is not going to like what's going to happen.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Like what was Idris's first fight? Was that like the second or like third episode maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Is it all right? So is it racist of me to go, oh, this guy's from Kazakhstan and he's a good wrestler, he's going to win this show? Like, is that racist of me?
No, I mean he's out of Erkin Bush.
It's like maybe a little bit.
It's a lazy capping maybe at the highest level, but that's okay.
No, I
probably not wrong.
I just, and again, that was like just as a spectator, like as an enjoyer of the show. I'm like, oh, that guy, okay, he's gonna win, right? Yeah, I don't do too much digging into the prospects until they make it to this stage here. But I mean, his wrestling is really freaking good, and Joseph Morales is somebody that is not. I don't know. He's just not fantastic, right? And even though he's only 30 years old, I think he's outgunned in this spot.
Yeah, Guru, that was UGLY. You ain't got no alibi.
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I could just tell that he's talented. You don't come all this way.
I was just saying it because his name is Alibi. It's like alibi. I just wanted to use that.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I wasn't thinking that way.
No, I wasn't being too serious about it. Don't worry. I like that you were defending yourself. Minus 420, though, I think it's a sign. I think he's the last leg of our Make the Bookies Pay parlay. Because Joseph Morales, he needs the wrestling. He's a, coming out of Sacramento type of guy. And it looks like he's very poor at, like managing his P's and Q's from distance. He's losing on the feet in his first matchup before he finally ends up getting the wrestling going and ekes it out and just dominates him from top. But, overall, Libby, I feel like he's the answer here. He could win it on the feet. He's going to be the better wrestler from my estimation. And I think he's got the better cardio and pace as well. Flash knockouts happen at any level, but this is also a smaller weight class. So I think you got to take the clearly better fighter, throw him in the parlay. You'll get some plus money. We'll have a good time. Art?
I basically agree with everything you said there. I think he has him covered almost everywhere. I won't go too much in depth. I didn't go too depth into the tape there, but just from what I saw, I think Idris has him covered. I agree. I don't know if I can play the money line. You might have to get creative with some props and stuff, but yeah.
So he has him covered because he's from Kazakhstan.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes, my man.
Nice. All right, hell yeah. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Absolutely electric show today. John Newquist, shout out to you. I think we're going with our John Newquist dog of the week was Jessica Andrade. We had the trifecta of agreement. That's going to be our dog play today. And then our Make the Bookies Pay parlay. I'm talking the guru into Chase Hooper. You could throw him with Kai Asakura. And you ain't got no alibi. We're putting, Stringer Bell himself, Idris Alibi.
Can we throw MVP in there as well?
I would put MVP in there as well.
Yeah, baby.
And Brian Battle, I think I want to take him straight. I don't think we need to put him in the parlay.
Wow. You better make a withdrawal from the bank account, boy.
All right, beautiful. So yeah, listen, if you guys haven't done the right thing, I've definitely been judging you heavily this whole time. But throw a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you, Olajuwon. Thank you, Dixon. Prop parlay, one leg each. I think we could do that real quick as well. So prop parlay, let's see. For some fun, I'm gonna take I'll steal the one from earlier because I was adamant. We'll go Chase Hooper inside the distance for leg one of the parlay. Guru?
What's Prates by decision? Is that plus money?
That's hot. Yeah, it's definitely plus money. Throw it in.
Yeah.
And then Art, you got anything fun to throw in there?
I like Paige decision. I think it's easy.
Beautiful. Awesome. So Venom Paige decision, Prates decision, and Chase Hooper inside the distance. That'll be a fun little parlay. You could probably get close to plus 1,000 on that. You got to do the work yourself, though. So before we pass it off to the guru to do things properly, Art, Mr. Electrocute, thank you so much for joining. What do you got to say for the people before we get out of here?
Thanks for having me. I'm, honored to be on the show and stuff. But you can catch all of my stuff on Twitter. I'm everywhere. But Fighting Stats, fightingstats.com, patreon.com/fightingstats. The reason that we're doing so good, and we're closing into 400 units. We've passed that 300 units. We're up to almost 400. I think we're going to get there by the end of the year. And it's one of the craziest runs. Like, I'm not even trying to I'm not one of those guys that goes around and trying to whatever, but it's just an insane run that we've been on week after week. And we track everything. I post everything over to patreon.com/fightingstats. I track everything. And I'm a big volume guy. I play any kind of prop that really stands out. And TB and I were talking about it's just, I have a way of just before I tape the fight, I sort of get an idea of where the line should be, where the takedown line should be, strike price lines, sort of thing. And then when they do come out, that sounds a little bit off. Let me, try to do some research on that, see if it's right there. So it's been paying off huge. So if you don't know, what we do here at Fighting Stats is that we have guys that work around the clock. We collect our own exclusive UFC stats. It's not available anywhere else. I can tell you how many times a fighter throws a jab or a right kick, what stance they're in, what percentage of the time they're in half guard to full guard. And I use that with my analysis. I watch all the previous tape of all the fighters. I get an idea of what they look like, what they want to do, what their tendencies are, and I pair that with our stats. And it just gives us a huge edge over the sports books when it comes to props, analysis, anything like that. Even live betting, we would know what to look for. So it's not just one parlay that we're hitting, and it's over and over. It's because we're putting in the work, we're putting in the effort, day after day, and it's we could just continue to be on this crazy run. So you can catch me at Mr. Electrocute on Twitter, or at Fighting Stats, patreon.com/Fighting Stats to get all of our plays there. Appreciate all the support. Thanks for having me.
Art, you are incredible. You're a gentleman. The run you're on has been fantastic. We would have wanted you on either way, but to grace us with your presence while you're doing what you're doing, man, we cannot thank you enough for giving us nearly 2 hours of your time on a Thursday night. So no seriously, problem. Dude, thank you so much. Guys in the chat, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Please, if you have not subscribed to the channel, just hit subscribe. We are desperately clawing our way up to 1,000. And I really do think that we deserve it. So please subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you on the Chronic Combat family. Make sure you're following my unbelievable co-host, TV Scouting MMA, over on Twitter, Instagram, Pickett, Tapology, and Bet MMA. And you can follow me, the Guru Scouting MMA, over on Twitter, Pickett, Verdict, Tapology, and Bet MMA. We are back next week. We are flying across the globe to Shanghai, China for Johnny Walker versus Minyang Zhang. I'm sure nobody has any idea how that fight is going to end. So make sure you tune in next week to find out. Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern. Be there, be square. Let's make some money and be safe out there, ladies and gentlemen.